So this post is about how third-party logistics companies, 3PLs, can leverage this startup phenomenon to their advantage, right? So necessity is the mother of invention. They say creativity is the father, and knowledge is the midwife. So, I mean, in my personal life, when I started my career, I started as a software developer. I mean, I wasn't like super smart software developer, right? I was good. I was above average. I was good at what I did, but I was like not like the top 3 or top 5, right? So then eventually I figured out what my strength was more on the design side, and then I found a nice position where I can add a lot more value, and then I figured out a way to make progress in my career. So when we are put under pressure, when we face adversity, we figure out a way to come out of it, right? That's what the human mind, the ingenuity of the human mind is all about. So if you look at there are a couple of things that are happening in a macro the macro level, right? One is there is a lot of 3PL activity that's happening around us, because there are a lot of product vendors that are coming up, and they all sell through Amazon, and are able to sell online through the internet, or have their own website, and or through other channels, eBay and things like that. But they don't have all the infrastructure to distribute the product, to move the product from one place to another place, either from the vendor or to the customer, or doing a partial delivery to their end users or end customers, right? Things like that. So that's one challenge that's been happening. So 3PLs are basically filling that segment of the market, and the other side, what's happening is technology is getting disrupted left and right. I mean, the technological advancements are disrupting the way we do business, right? I mean, e-commerce is one big example. I mean, there are several other things, Airbnb, Uber, and all that is happening. So the startup companies are we got to also clearly understand, we are talking about real startup companies, disruptive startup companies, right? I mean, these are companies that are working on game-changing technologies that are changing the way that people do business today, right? That's what the real startup companies are. So it makes a lot of sense for this 3PLs to partner with such companies, because the 3PLs have existing customer base, and the startup companies come up with disruptive technology, and when you put that together, we are able to add tremendous value to the end customers, right? Technology is such an important thing that completely changes everything. For example, I mean, I'm originally from India, and I'm very fascinated by the history of India. Back in the 1700s, the GDP of the world, India contributed 25% towards the world GDP. But in the 1900s, it came down to 4%. And one of the biggest reasons was that India completely missed the Industrial Revolution. I mean, back in the 1700s, India had amazing artisans, right? I mean, they did some of the best weavers in the world, and some of the best, smiths in the world, best carpenters in the world, sculptors in the world that built amazing temples and architecture and things like that. But after the steam engine was invented, right? I mean, people even talk about the muslin cloth. Even today, that muslin cloth is so special, and it's so thin. You can it's like a 7 yard. A muslin cloth of length 7 yard can be made into a tiny ball, and you can literally store it in your ring. So that's how thin the fabric was, and how slender the fibers were, right? So that's how skillful the weavers from this region near Bengal, that's called muslin, and that's how they got the name, the muslin cloth, were skillful. But unfortunately, after the advent of the steam engine, it's 1800s, that completely changed. Basically the Industrial Revolution took over, and they were able to produce goods at a much lower price compared to the artisans that were sitting in India, and that's how Europe started ruling the world. So India completely missed the Industrial Revolution, and fell far behind. So anybody that ignores technology, will ignore at their own peril, right? So it's not, a good idea to ignore technology. So that's the point here. The 3PL companies have a lot of opportunity to partner with companies, startup companies, and do some amazing work. And we've done some amazing work with some 3PL companies, and produce so much value for their customers and for all of us that's involved in the ecosystem. So it's something to seriously take a look at. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer those. Thank you.